Hello. Just 2 seconds. Dean has taken the boys out to go and get some jeans and some trackies. So he's off out for a bit. So anyway, I went through one of the boxes last night. It's currently empty. So as I was saying, I've got obviously the broken laptops from over the time that I've got to go through and sort. So anyway, this here is a poster that I can't quite open. So this is another box that I've been through. Just can't quite open it at the moment. Hello there, Claire. Hey, Maria. But this is the good old fatal book that I have been talking about. And it is called Management of Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. So this is the book that I've been talking about. And I want to talk about something because let's talk about drug testing and people in business. Yeah. Now, a lot of people in top businesses, as managers of businesses, people in the police, people in work at hospital, barristers, solicitors, all of these people get drug tested, right? Now, some people will use other urine samples and but not because they're drug addicts, because they have a medical condition. And that could be anything from their ticker in their heart, to their liver, to their kidneys, to having a terminal brain cancer. And a lot of people hide this. And the reason that they hide this, hey Maria, a lot of the reason that people hide this is because being diagnosed with a condition is very personal. And when you're in a job or a position of authority, you've got a high-powered career or things like that, you can't take time off. Like even in the time that I've just been sat here, because I've sat like this, I've just pulled the base of my, literally here in my back, and that's now going all the way up here, right? Now, a medical condition is very, 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 very personal to somebody. Not a lot of people want to show their struggles. Like right here in my neck at the moment, my 11s are completely up and I have a full-blown drop on the base of the Chiari. I know the difference. I know the difference in how my neck feels. I've been living with it like long enough. Reconnect. So anyway, back in 2000, after being diagnosed at the age of 24, after having an absolute horrendous time with people trying to call me a liar, they didn't know why I was lying, attention seeker. And even if people want to put an ADHD diagnosis and they go, oh, it's about attention deficit, well, it's got fuck all to do with this. If I was somebody that was all about me, I wouldn't have a problem with performing. I would literally just be like, hey, dancing, performing, doing what I do. What I do is a way of coping. So I've got to do the washing up in a minute. I don't have a dishwasher. That would make my life a lot easier. It's not really the space. It's not quite functional. So when we come down to occupational therapist assessments, what they basically do is go this, and even PIP. What is your worst day? Well, to somebody like me, my worst day is a complete laying in bed and people think you're a fucking lazy cunt. And it's not. It's like paralyzation, and it's literally because all my discs and all my nerves are all pressing on each other. So, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, okay? Now, this forward was done by Professor. So that's why I went on a quest to get to Professor Bird, because he was the person. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but I just want to give you an idea of what this affects and how people then can then look at somebody and go, oh, okay. Well, luckily I live in the UK and we have a system that refers people as sick, but I'm not sick, but I am. I have a disease. I have a incurable syndrome. People don't like syndromes because they go, that's non-diagnosis. But just let me show you something. Okay, so here, symptoms. So page 4, rheumatology, features of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. 5, cardiac abnormalities associated with it. Oral and dentist implications of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. gastrointestinal manifestations of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the skin in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hormone aspects of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the eye and vision in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, cardiovascular autonomic dysfunction, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, associations of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and Chiari-1 malformation. So it was obvious that this was going to happen to me. It was obvious that this was something that I was going to be dealing with. So then we've got speech, voice, language, swallowing, problems in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, orthopedic surgery in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, skin surgery in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, medication and pain relief in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So if a professional book says this, why does everybody want to go, well, you don't actually have pain? Foot care in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, pregnancy and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, joint mobility syndrome and physical therapy, parenting a child in pain. Should we say this again? Parenting a child in pain. No, my pain was lying and attention seeking. My pain was attention seeking. My pain was psychological. My pain was for everybody to abuse me as a child and then later on as an adult. Ways of means of coping with daily activities, self-help and remedy techniques, children and hospital, splinting and bracing, school, further education in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, coming to terms with the diagnosis. And this is the problem. It's for parents to come to terms with it. But the problem is, and Professor Graham said that Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is one of the most neglected conditions, because if I subluxate or dislocate something, you try it. Like, you try it. You try dislocating something and being left to sit there. Do you know, I cry most of the time because the people around me who are meant to love me will leave me in agonizing pain, not believing me. That's horrible. That's like a child who's being raped and abused by an uncle and sending them back going, no, you're not. Drop them back off. But my uncle just raped me. No, he didn't. He'll drop you back off next week. But my uncle's raping me. No, he didn't. Do you know how much trauma that causes? Not being believed. So anyway, appraising treatment for joint problems. Chiropractor, best thing I ever did. Preparing a medical history. And this is where my mum goes, why do you need to know all these questions about your birth? Consulting your doctor. Your child and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Relaxation as a tool for pain management. A partner and parents' perspective. And this is where it's all failed, because then you've got social. So this was done in 2000. The original management of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome was published by the Ehlers-Danlos Support Group. And that's who all the paediatricians, all the doctors recommend us to, but they are not people who support us. Are you watching my hands? There's braces that exist for people like me to stop my hands from doing this. So do you imagine a child writing, or me writing, having to write, having to do things? Yeah. And that is literally me to do this. And if I wanted to and pulled that skin up, it would go really, really, really stretchy. But the problem is I've been denied any form of my, you know, my management. Yeah. My management. And even the counselling that comes with it. And, you know, genetic counselling. You know, Aaron and Faith, Liam and Daniel, Elijah and Shiloh have missed out from this. This was something that I didn't know right at the beginning. So an affected and a not affected, you know, whether or not you're going to have a child who has the condition or doesn't have the condition. This stuff's important. So I literally got all of these, got all of the addresses, wrote to people, got to my doctor. And by 24... you know, I was on medications and in braces, and it was like, I don't want this. I don't want this. You know, you don't understand why my stomach hurts. And this is talking about gastral problems in children with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So you don't understand all of this and how this causes pain and difficulty chewing and problems, inflamed and bleeding gums and other dentals, heartburn and reflux subs, bloating and excessive wind, frequent hunger but quick satisfaction, poor growth, chronic abdominal pain. And then you come along and you abuse us with this. People abuse us with this. They abuse us with all of these challenges that we have. Serious gastro problems in patients with EDS. And then people don't understand why our stomach hurts or our skin is different. You know, and all of this, eye vision, the blue sclera that's on Faith's. Faith has got blue sclera, yeah? It's on her notes. Even, you know, all of this different stuff that we deal with. People wouldn't have a clue. How would a teacher at school understand this? You know, how is a parent? How is a social worker? You know, how is any person meant to understand the difference between the challenges someone faces? You know, it should be easy for someone like me to go out skating, but it's not. Yeah, foot care, all these things matter. Ways of means of coping with daily activities, you know, use your joints sensibly and think about them, you know, energy, all this stuff. But then you go and give this to someone and say, hey, understand Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So it's all there. So why people are questioning me that I have cranial instability, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobility, and I just think it's really interesting that Lord gets to see why it is that people with more physical conditions don't want to come out because of the way that people treat them. Even Paul told me the other day that he collapsed and students kicked him thinking he was drunk, and he was trying to explain to them that he's got a brain tumor. You know, and people don't like imperfection. Every person who has a child born wants their child to be a perfect boy, a perfect girl. Nobody wants to be told that there's something wrong with their child. And people think that something wrong with them is an awful, horrible thing, and they're imperfect, and they're not. I've got talents, I've got skills, I've got passions, I've got personality. It just means that I need people around me within my company, the people that I hang around with, the people that I spend time with, to understand that there is a management process with me, that I might not be, even for my birthday, I might wake up on my birthday day and be so fucking emotionally drained by it all, or physically drained, that I don't want to do anything. And I choose not to do anything. So planning things is really, really difficult. And even now with having to get up, you know, my hip is out. It's the way it is. I don't want to have to keep walking around going, oh, my hip, oh, my legs, oh, this, just so people go, because I class that as quite debilitating to me. I just need people around who understand me well enough. They can probably tell by my eyes if I'm in a lot of pain, by the way I move around, by the way I get up, and things like this. Yeah? Why would this be difficult for somebody like me? Why? 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 And the thing is, someone like me does it. But here's the point, in when I shouldn't have to. When it's okay to let a cleaner come in and do stuff, or get a dishwasher, or be able to focus on my career and where I work, counselling and supporting people who have been through sexual, physical, emotional abuse, trauma, and assisting and enabling people with disability aspects. But, like, you know, at the end of the day, someone like me to thrive needs to do things differently. But what's the point of having a picker-upper if the picker-upper's on the floor and you can't picker up the picker-upper, and you've got to come up with ways of picking up the picker-upper, or pick up the picker-upper and then do your hipping. And some people, my hip picker-upper is broken, but some people, things like this to pick up toys, which I can't do because my picker-upper is broken, is easier. All I would say to people who don't have conditions, don't have a go at the people that do. And even if you do, just imagine, even if you've got the same condition, just how you deal with it and how somebody else deals with it and what they're going through is completely different. Take me and my mother for an example. Yeah, my mother has never had a normal birth delivery. She's only had cesarean sections. So she doesn't know what it's like to have a pelvis and her hips completely freaking subluxation and dislocated. But I don't know what it's like having a baby cut out of my stomach. So her healing and my healing was two very different traumas. So you can't judge. And my boys, well, my boys don't have to go through monthly periods. They don't have a womb. They don't have to give birth. So theirs is different too. It's the same as somebody with diabetes. Somebody's diabetes is different to somebody else's diabetes. But management and health, you know, I'm not lazy. This is where I'm not lazy. I push myself every fucking day. Otherwise, someone like me would have been put down like a dog and You know, it's not right. You know, this is a genetic condition. And I've got my foster care file here as well, which I also found in the box, which is nothing more than people having a go at a girl. And that's all it is, for people that couldn't give a shit about this. And, you know, and just before I go, you know, this is a child with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you know, writing pain. It's not, we can't write, writing pain, poor posture, poor legibility, poor grip, weak focus, you know, poor coordination, slow hesitance, PE reluctant, tires easy, often dizzy, headaches, nausea, you know, how to help a child with EDS, not how to abuse a child by taking them away from their mother and their father by saying that their parents don't even have EDS and it's the easiest condition to claim to have. And then that mother going into a campaign unit where people, you know, don't understand that I'm actually highly intelligent, highly articulate, very, very, very clever, very smart. And it's just my body, it does what it does. And I need people around me that get it instead of abusing me. So to those that do, like, seriously, just fuck you. You're going to pay your time in the Lord, because he sees it. He sees what you do. He sees how you speak to them. This is my medical notes, mate. You know, had this has said Kellie has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I'd have been treated very differently. But I do have a clinical diagnosis. And social do deserve to be sued for what they've done. And the people that continually abuse me with the website and everything deserve to face hate crime and be put into prison, because other people are tolerating it. Other people are going through the abuse. And I'm not willing to tolerate it, because this is like my little girl Faith, mate. And she needs her mum. And Aaron needs his dad, you know, his dad, and needs his mum. And yes, it's not that nobody else can understand my children. You want to put my children's shoulders back in, do you? You want to know whether my children's bruises need to be checked? You want to know whether you want to take the responsibility of my child sleeping during the night and maybe pulling his shoulder out or an ulnar bone or his feet? You want to take that responsibility? Right. I have an issue with people who put stuff up in my name. People want to troll me. People want to attack me. Do what you want to do. But I'll respond in my own way. It's nasty, vile, evil people, yeah? Because these children grow up to be adults that struggle just as much, yeah? And need just as much love, just as much support. And so what if this government that we sit on helps and supports people? So what if we've got PIP? Get up, go to work and live with our conditions. And if you're getting up and struggling every day, maybe think about your own pride. Don't project your pride onto me, mate. Pride, hardest sin to beat. That's their problem, not mine.